the dangers of screen time, of how, especially since the pandemic, we're all looking at our screens that much more and it's affecting all of us so much, but especially children. And in today's video, I'm talking about the dangers of eating while looking at a screen for a child and what we can do to help reduce that. It's snack time here for the children, and yes, we have an advantage that my children are growing up with my brother's children and therefore they have company. But you know what, it's a habit that we have formed with all of them, that there is no screen time that happens. Yes, there is no screen time that happens during meal times. In fact, they have hardly any screen time, and I've spoken about it in more detail. Now, when your child is used to screen time as a source of distraction when they're eating, and this has been happening for a 3-4 year period, the first 2 weeks of breaking this habit will be really difficult. But hang in there. You know what? We're trying to change this habit for a lifetime of good, happy, healthy eating, and you can definitely do it. Let's not worry about why you started using screen time with your child during meals. You have a very valid reason, you needed to do it, absolutely fine. But what is important is to understand that there is a danger to using it while eating and to rectify the course. Okay, we are making paneer pancakes for breakfast, and while we make that, I'm going to talk about why it is important not to use screen time while eating. The first reason is that eating is such a basic task, right? It's such a necessary basic skill that we should be able to do it without needing any other help. The second point is that good eating habits are formed when you focus on the food and you also learn how to eat well. And the third point is that the child should be aware of what they are eating, right? And if they are very busy looking at a screen, then they don't know what is on their plate and what they're putting into their mouth. Okay, we are making the tadka for our breakfast, which is dhokla. One of the things that happens is that there are times when screen time is used for children. When a parent is in a hurry, you want them to eat a full meal, you don't want them to be very fussy because you're outside. Perfectly okay. But be aware of the frequency. When you notice it becoming a regular event in your child's life, that's when you need to start saying, okay, what else can we do? Now, I haven't used it with Gauri so far. We have managed with however things are, whatever things are, whether she eats, she doesn't eat, she makes a fuss, whichever way. I took a call that no screen time at all during the day and especially during meal time. So when your child is willing to eat a meal or a snack only with screen time, that's when you need to make a change. Because we don't want our children to grow into 8-10-year-olds or teenagers insisting that screen time is necessary for such a basic task like eating. Having worked with behavior modification before, I came up with these 5 steps to help, shift a child from needing a screen to eat to just eating food, at the table without needing such a huge distraction. We are surveying all the plants after a good night's rain. Bangalore is finally back to its usual temperature. So step 1 in this process is to keep all devices out of your child's reach during mealtime. Children learn the best by imitating us. We need to ensure that we don't keep any devices or phones on during meal times, even if the children are not around, right? The second step is to have all meal times with the child as you're going through this process. Even involve them in the cooking process. Yes, sometimes it gets messy, but it is worth doing it together because she knows what we're eating and we're doing something fun together. An important step to take at this point is to make meal times fun, right? You are teaching your child to not use the screen as a way of eating, and an excellent way to distract them is to tell them stories, sing songs, read a book, do whatever is needed. As long as you're making them sit at the table and eat, absolutely no problem. It's very natural for children to play with their food and play with everything on the table. And I think sometimes we have to be okay with it. So when your child is used to looking at the screen while eating, right? And we are trying to change them to doing something else. Allowing them to play with utensils or have a book in front of them is a completely acceptable alternative, right? We are trying to get them to eat without any distractions. And that's not possible initially. We have to give them an alternative to screen time, and toys or books is a great way. Also, a wonderful motivator for a child who's learning how to eat without screen time is to talk about it. Every time your child eats a meal or a snack without any screen time, please make a big deal out of it. It is an accomplishment, because every step that they take will reach you to that time where they will have one full week without screen time during eating. Tell your friends and relatives, whoever video calls with the child, tell them. Talking about this in front of the child or the baby is huge motivation. And all children like to be, spoken about and mentioned positively. So your baby is going to enjoy it too. Talk about it. Tell the town, paint the town red with this news. Now the thing about breaking the habit of screen time, right, while eating. If your child has been used to it for a 3-4 year period, you've tried all the gentler methods and it hasn't worked. Sometimes we have to follow the principle of tough love, right? If they are throwing a tantrum because they want screen time for eating and it's a habit that you want to break, then I'm sorry, you're going to have to just tell your child that, sorry, you're not getting food today. But if you're willing to eat without the iPad or a screen in front of you, here the whole thing is there for you to eat, right? Just like these kiddos are doing. Tough love, not always easy, but sometimes really, really necessary. This means that you have to steel yourself for tantrums, right? For them throwing their food, saying, no, I don't want to eat, and absolutely refusing food for even a day or two. Our children won't go hungry, but what they will learn is that you mean what you're saying. That you're saying that no screen time while you're eating, and if you can consistently maintain that, they are going to soon learn and say, okay, I am hungry. Whatever you give me without a screen, I am going to happily eat. It's going to be absolutely difficult those first 2 weeks. But trust me, persist for only 2 weeks and your child is going to have excellent, healthy, happy eating habits. So as you're going through this phase of phasing out screen time at meal time, give your children a little more extra love, okay? They are going through a difficult phase, as are you as a parent, right? But at other points of the day, if you can spend a little more extra time, take them out, do special things, that will make a big difference. My grandparents are watching TV here while Gauri is having her dinner. Now, it's only because we have taught her not to have screen time as an entertainment to eat that we're able to manage this, right? The TV running on that side, her eating here. Oh great, occasionally she will look at it like now, but then it's because there's this difference in the sound, looks back and eats. And folks, that's the miracle of getting your child to eat without screen time as a distraction. Welcome to our dining table and dinner time. I hope the tips that I've given you have been useful and you will be able to shift your child from needing a screen and that sort of a distraction to eat to just sitting around a table like this and eating. If you're finding these videos useful, please do subscribe. Thank you for watching.